What if buying a house today isn't really building wealth, but it's actually taking on more risk?
I tell you, owning a home is literally a scam. And in America is that you never actually own your house.
Maturing is realizing that America is a scam and we being ripped off and nobody doing nothing about it.
You are not buying a house. You are buying the right to live in a house and pay the bank.
For a long time, guys, buying a house was seen as the goal, and people will work, they will save, and they end up buying a home in the future. That's just a very simple steps to really getting a home, and that's how you really build stability. That's how you build wealth, and at least that's what we were told. But today, at least, the idea doesn't really feel as simple as it used to be anymore, because the numbers don't really hit the same. House prices are higher, the interest rates are higher, and your monthly payments are going to be higher as well. And at the same time, incomes haven't really kept up in the same way, if you haven't noticed already. So now, buying a house doesn't feel like a natural step that people take anymore. It really feels like a stretch. And I'm talking about a big stretch, because it's not just the mortgage, it's everything around it that you have to deal with: property taxes, maintenance, insurance, unexpected repairs, things that don't show up in the headline price, but they show up in your life. You know what I'm saying? So what used to feel like a home ownership starts to feel like an obligation now. And then there's this pressure to buy. Like, you hear it everywhere, guys. I mean, renting is throwing money away. Oh, you need to own to build wealth, or hey, you need to quote unquote get in before it's too late. But when you actually run the numbers, for a lot of people, buying right now doesn't create freedom. It really just creates pressure, because you're locking into a long-term commitment in a market that doesn't really feel stable. And if something shifts out here with the economy, or even like your job or your income, or just any situation that you may be in, you don't just adjust easily, okay? You are literally tied to this home. And that is the part that people are starting to question out here. Not whether owning a home is good, but whether the current version of it makes sense. Because if buying a house means stretching my finances, taking a risk, and sacrificing flexibility, then it doesn't really feel like the same opportunities that it used to be. It feels different. And for a lot of people, it's going to feel like a trap. Not because home ownership is inherently bad, but it's because the conditions around it have changed. So now you got this tension out here. People still want stability. They still want something of their own, of course, but the path to getting there feels way more expensive, more uncertain too, and way more demanding than it used to be. So I don't think that people don't want houses out here. People don't, I don't think that it's the fact that people don't want home ownership, but it just doesn't, you just don't really get the same deal anymore. Okay. And until something changes out here, man, I mean, more people are just going to keep questioning whether buying that home is actually worth it and of good quality as well.
I was 29 years old when I first purchased my house in LA County in California. And man, I tell you, owning a home is literally a scam. And in America is that you never actually own your house. You never actually own your house. I'm telling you, because on top of everything, you have to pay like over $10,000 a year just on property taxes. And when you don't, guess who's going to be at your door? Mr. Uncle Sam himself. And these are types of things that I was never aware about, because I was young when I first bought my house, so I didn't know better, but there's just so much added up. The maintenance, I tell you, that is a lot of work to do. So if you're buying a house, it's not just like paying off your house. There's other expenses involved. Having a tenant doesn't guarantee that your mortgage is always going to be paid, because imagine your tenant loses their job. Who's going to pay their rent? The mortgage, I mean. It's going to be you. It's going to come out of your freaking pocket. And you can't always rely on other people to pay your mortgage for you. At least in the state of California. I don't know anywhere else, like correct me if I'm wrong, but in California, the tenants have rights and the burden of responsibility falls on the homeowner. So there's that. Also, fire department just showed up at my house yesterday and they were like, hey, it's going to be fire season. You have to cut off all your trees, do all your yard work. And I'm like, dude, is the state going to pay for that? Because I have to find someone and pay thousands of dollars for this now. And it's like, it never ends. There's always money after money after money. And if shit screws up, the burden of responsibility falls on you as the homeowner. So there's that. I mean, I would buy a house if there's multi-income, if you're going to be a multi-income household and you guys, all the people involved have stable jobs, then yes. But man, if you're single and you're buying a house, I would definitely reconsider that. So yeah, just be mindful.
Maturing is realizing that America is a scam and we being ripped off and nobody doing nothing about it. My mama, she turned 53 a few days ago. My stepdaddy, he gonna be 58 in September. They still don't own their own house. Now, they did make some mistakes with their finances in the past, but it's so hard for them now, right? So I get on here and I'm scrolling. I see a girl. She probably like my age. Y'all, this girl done brought her some land. She live in Costa Rica. This girl brought like acres upon acres of land. And it's beautiful. And she said she didn't need no credit check. And she didn't need a lot of money. Okay. I seen another girl. I came on here and I seen another girl. She around my age as well. She's living in Italy. Y'all, this girl bought her a big, beautiful home. It's a fixer-upper, but she owns that home and the land around it. And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I'm just thinking to myself, why does America make things so hard? Like, all of this is a ripoff. All of this is a scam. Why is it so hard to own a house? Why is it so hard to get land? Why you gotta go credit check after credit check? And why do you have to save all this money? Why do you have to find the right bank? It's like a whole list full of stuff that you gotta do just to own the house, just to own some land. We being ripped off. We being scammed. And I've been saying that for the longest. Once I get my income flowing, get my income right online, I'm out of here. I'm not living in America. I'm not staying here. I've been saying that for years upon years now. I'm gone. I'm finna go because this American way of life, of living, y'all can have it. I don't want it because you got to do all of that just to have a decent life, just to have the basics. You got to do all that stuff. Like, who? We being ripped off. We being scammed. And my parents not perfect. You know, they made mistakes with their finances in the past, but that's not the point. It shouldn't take all of that just to own a house, just to own some land, just to get some property under your name. America makes all this stuff difficult, and it's like you taking a pop quiz. I'm out of here. You can stay if you want to, but I'm out of here. Thank God I have learned a way that I can make honest money online. I started selling digital products online consistently, and I'm going to use that as my income to get the heck out of here. I'm out. I'm gone. You can stay if you want to. Oh, by the way, if you want to start selling digital products online, but you don't know where to start, I got you. Comment me underneath, and I'm going to send you a DM. I just had to put my 2 cents in on that.
You are not buying a house. You are buying the right to live in a house and pay the bank. So people need to stop saying, oh, I bought a house, I own my house. You can't. No. You don't own anything someone can take from you. And you did not buy the house. The only time you can say you own your home is if you have no mortgage. Even then, you don't own it because if you don't pay property taxes, they can still take it from you.
Guys, I'm here to tell you that home ownership is not it. Real estate was great if you were a boomer back in the day and you bought your home for super cheap and the assessed value is still like nothing, so you're paying very little in property taxes. But nowadays, I don't think it's worth it, honestly. To give you context, I live in a house. I don't own it. My parents own it, but I help them with all the maintenance and stuff. And just from living like in a house for several years now, it's just there's constant money that goes out. It also depends where you live, right? So I live in LA, and LA is so expensive. Property taxes are expensive. Labor to get anything work done, like with the house, is so expensive. We've had this house for like 8 years now. And in the 8 years, I will tell you some of the major things I can think of at the top of my head. So, one part of the sewer line broke where it meets with our neighbors. That was $10,000. The garage opener thing broke, $1,300. The fridge broke, and because the fridge was like a specific sized fridge, like, okay, this is like, I guess, first world problems, right? But like, it's a built-in kind of fridge, so you can't just get like a regular standalone fridge. And this was during COVID when it broke, so there was no appliances, like everything was sold out. So we had to get like a specific expensive ass fridge, which is not even that great. And that was $9,000. What else? This house is in kind of like, I'm not saying rural, but there's like a lot of mountains and like wild animals, and coyotes come here and they bit through like our water lines in the backyard. So I just had to get that all repaired today, and that was like $1,500. And the AC condenser and heating is over 20 years old now, and I am like just praying to God it like doesn't break, but it is probably going to break sometime because it's over 20 years. And I've heard quotes for like both AC and heating is around like between $20 to $30,000 just to replace. Not to mention, every single year, your property taxes are around 1.27% of the assessed value in Los Angeles. The median house price in Los Angeles is around $2 million, which means every single year you have to pay like $25,000, $26,000 just in property taxes. So as much as I would love to eventually buy my own house, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Because with renting, like, yes, obviously you have to deal with, oh, my landlord might raise the rent price or I have to move out. So that is another issue. But at least it's not like constant money coming out. Like, a house is really not an investment anymore. Like, it used to be an investment. Now I would consider it more like a liability because it's just constant money coming out. I'm so grateful that my parents have this house, but I'm like, I don't know if I would ever want to deal with this again, like for my own place, for another property. Not that I can afford a property anytime soon. Maybe not in the next 10 years. But yeah. Don't invest in property. I don't think it's a good idea, at least right now, or for the next foreseeable future, for the next 5 years. It's just not a good investment.
This is how fucking ridiculous the housing market is. This house, 6 bedrooms, 5 baths, is pretty much damn near $1 million, $983,500. It's a nice ass house. It's damn near a mansion. You could have a whole family and another one living in that motherfucker. And this is the Zillow estimates that if you decide to rent it out, you're looking at $4,742 a month for rent. That same house just 6 years ago sold for $390,000. So you mean to tell me in just 6 short years, that same fucking house not only doubled, it tripled in fucking price? And you gotta think, who in their fucking right mind is gonna drop 983,000 racks, pretty much $1 million, because this is not including closing costs on this home? Who got that kind of money laying around unless you're a multimillionaire or a real estate investor? What's the usual down payment of a home? 15-20%? So 20% of the asking price is $196,700. Who in the flying fuck is sitting on $196,000 in cash? And we talk about middle class, not the fucking rich. Damn sure not a lot of people got this money just sitting in a checking and savings account. Let's just say you will get lucky and apply for an FHA loan, which is about 3.5%. You're looking at $34,422 down payment on that home. I don't know about y'all, but $34,000 is still a lot of fucking money. And again, that's not including the closing costs and the inspection that you have to pay, as well as any other work that needs to be done inside that fucking home once you move into it. And again, if you only paid the 3.5%, you better damn sure rent this motherfucker out because your mortgage alone is gonna be well over $5,000. And let's not include the property tax in Long Island is fucking through the roof. And these old fossil fuels motherfuckers in DC got the nerve to sit back and be like, I wonder why nobody's buying a house nowadays. Cause the price is like this. Like, yo, you motherfuckers have single-handedly made it unaffordable for the middle class to survive and live off any fucking thing. People can't buy homes. People can't rent out an apartment. People can't go out to eat. People can't buy groceries. People can't buy fucking clothes to put on their backs. Hell, people don't want to have kids because having kids in today's economy is financial suicide. I read somewhere that it costs now $303,000 to raise a kid in the United States up until the age of 18, up 20% from just 3 years ago. And that's just to raise the kid alone. That's not including to buy a home, to put a roof over its head, and that's not even including college if your kid wants to go off to college, so what you got to spend thousands more dollars on. And I don't want to hear no idiot fuck saying, well, you know, Congress has nothing to do with the affordability of the middle class. Yes, they fucking do, because if they can bomb Iran, which caused gas prices to skyrocket, what they do in DC literally affects the affordability of the middle class. Example motherfucking A.
Owning a home in America is now the most unaffordable it has ever been across our entire history. Look at this chart on your screen. It's crazy. This is the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which measures the price of the American dream over time adjusted for inflation. And it kind of goes along flat, flat, flat. And all of a sudden it gets to our time period and just like goes through the roof out into outer space. Now, it's not just about owning a home. This is related to this overall architecture of economic exploitation, both by, the higher classes and the top 1% and those who have access, to government and all these other things, but also by the older generations, which, had these opportunities and built their financial lives by owning a home and building equity, and then saddled us with debt before we were even born, or before at least we were able to vote. It's like a form of taxation without representation. Now, the key thing to understand is, as I mentioned, equity. That's how you build the foundation of your economic life as an American. But the people who can't own a home don't get a chance to do that. They're just shoveling rent money into a furnace every single month and never getting to that point. They're building equity for somebody else, okay? And then in addition to that, these same people, a lot of them have student debt, not dischargeable in bankruptcy, and they got that student debt to obtain a degree and skill set, which artificial intelligence, depending on how you believe, is highly likely to render obsolete. And the people rendering it obsolete, are they going to pay for all the economic damage they're going to cause? Absolutely not. At least we're going to give a bailout to UAE and Qatar, so maybe that makes you feel better about the economic state of this country.
I'm about to blow your mind. The side of Massachusetts real estate that you just don't even know about, that if you knew about, you'd vomit. You'd literally vomit at the money being thrown around. I work for the gas company, all right, which means that a lot of these houses that people are buying and tearing down and building make mansions on, I see before they tear down, because I have to go and cut the gas off, because if I didn't, they tore it down, the house would go kaboom. That being said, though, I pull up to these houses and I'm like, damn, like I would buy this house. And I always try to figure out what was the Zillow price? Like, what did it get sold for? And it's like 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, sometimes like 1.5, 1.6 million dollars. Tear the fucking house down. And then on top of that, I come back because I put in the new service once they get the new house put up, and it's like a freaking Taj Mahal castle, right? And I ask usually the builders, hey man, like how much you guys selling this thing for? And he's like, oh, the house itself costs like $2 million. So that means that they tore it down for 1.5. They put another $2 million into it, which means it's $3.5 million fully invested. That's their nut. Are we playing with Monopoly money now? And I just no one told me.
You're kidding.
Let's just cut right through the fucking ceiling joist for the fucking exhaust. What a bunch of idiots.
Yo! Like, what happened to the plywood? They don't put plywood anymore? It's just the foam?
See?
Y'all want y'all's goddamn homes built out of fucking cardboard? 200 G's. 200 G's.
I'm about to expose myself, but even if it helps just one person, then it's worth it to me. This is very embarrassing for me to be sharing, but I wanted to show you guys what's going on in my life right now. I've been on Netflix reality TV. I have over 2 million followers, and to the outside world, people who just follow me on social media, they always assume that I have everything together, and it's not true. First of all, let me just show you my house and then I'm gonna explain everything. This is my guest bathroom. This is my living room. This is my kitchen. This is my pool area. So here's the story. Back in November, my husband and I decided that we wanted to buy a house. When I tell you, not only have construction workers taken advantage of my lack of knowledge about the value of renovations, but also the amount of things that literally broke, flooded, just everything started falling apart as soon as we bought this house. It's like the previous owners knew that it was falling apart, sold it at a high price just to get rid of it, and then now we're left with literally a house that is completely falling apart. I have had days where in the middle of the day, I just have gotten overwhelmed and started tearing up because I work from home. So I'm trying to focus on business and my work, and my house is falling apart. I have nowhere to like zen out. But this pool recently is the straw that broke the camel's back for me. We are now looking at over 30 grand in renovations, and literally for what? For no reason other than like just everything started falling apart. The pool is not usable. We literally have to do an entire renovation in order to use it again and replace the pump, which I didn't even include the price of the pump in that 30 grand that I just quoted. Moral of the story is I just feel so in over my head, and with inflation and everything that's happening, I just want to advise people who are buying a new home and planning on fixing and flipping, make sure that you do your due diligence and really check if your home is in good condition before you buy. We had a home inspector tell us that everything was fine, and then as soon as we moved in, everything started falling apart. The other reason for making this post, if you've made it this far along in the video, is because I don't want people to have a false perception of like celebrities and influencers living a perfect life. This house has drained my bank account. It has drained my energy, and it's put strain and stress on my marriage. And for anyone out there who's struggling with the same thing, maybe not in the housing market, but maybe just struggling with something like this that's draining your bank account, draining your energy, and even affecting your mental health or your relationships, take a deep breath. I'm going through it too, and you just gotta take it one day at a time. Today, I don't even know what task I'm gonna need to complete in order to make this house in a livable position, but I'm taking it one step at a time, and that's really all I can do. I don't know how I'm gonna drop 30 grand on renovations, but I'm taking it one step at a time, and that's all I can do. And lastly, for anyone that's in the Arizona area, if you're looking to do some renos on a house and you're gonna give me a good price, let me know.